Deep beneath the waves, in a world of shimmering corals, singing dolphins, and secrets no human has ever seen, lives a mermaid named Arya with a heart full of wonder. She dreams of the land above, of footsteps on soil, of songs in the air, of animals she can touch. But magic is dangerous, and choices have consequences. Join me on Fantasy Gleam as we dive into the Little Mermaid, Arya's magical ocean adventure, a tale of courage, longing, love, and the cost of following your heart. Will Arya's voice return? Will love span land and sea? Let's swim into this adventure together. The Little Mermaid, Arya's magical ocean adventure in the quiet depths of the ocean, far beyond the sunlight's reach, a world thrived that very few had ever imagined. Clusters of glowing jellyfish drifted like living lanterns. Rainbow-colored schools of fish darted through coral canyons. Singing dolphins played in kelp forests. Deeper still, past ancient shipwrecks and fields of pearl-white sand, stood a grand underwater kingdom. At the center of that kingdom was the palace of the Sea King, a ruler of power and grace who reigned over the waters with kindness and strength. He lived with his mother, the wise Sea Queen, and his 3 daughters, mermaids each as lovely as the moonlit waves. Among them, the youngest, Arya, stood out not just by her gentle beauty, but by her restless heart. Arya possessed 2 gifts. Her singing voice was clear and melodious. Her hands could fashion exquisite jewelry from shells, pearls, and sea glass. Her sisters were content to glide through palace halls, dance in moonlit currents, and enjoy their royal life. But Arya's gaze was always drawn upward to the surface, to the shifting line where sea meets sky. She wondered what it would feel like to walk on land, to taste human food, to touch animals whose limbs weren't fins. Each time Arya shared her dreams, her grandmother would speak gently. "My dearest, when you wear the crown of adulthood, like your sisters, you will be allowed to visit the surface. But always remember, surface folks pollute the seas. Their careless trash the plastics. The poisons harm creatures of water. Be cautious." Still, the longing grew. One day, unable to resist, Arya swam up near the surface under golden sunlight. She saw a magnificent ship. On its deck stood a handsome prince, playing a flute. The melody was haunting. Arya listened, eyes closed, humming an echo of the song. The notes floated across the water. Below deck, the prince paused. He leaned over the railing, trying to hear better. She opened her eyes and caught sight of him. Embarrassed, her heart pounded. She dove beneath the waves before he could see her. Unseen by Arya, the sea witch, once banished from the kingdom, watched through her crystal globe. Her lips curved in a cruel smile. "The daughter of the Sea King fancies a human, does she?" she murmured. A storm gathered lightning cracked the sky. Waves thrashed violently. The prince's ship rocked. A giant wave broke over the bow. Arya's ears rang. The ship pitched, its masts groaning. The prince, clutching his flute, was thrown into the sea. The water swallowed him dark, cold. Without hesitation, Arya swam to him. She caught his limp body, pressed him toward the surface, carried him through the surf, dragged him toward the nearest shore. The waves crashed, foam dripping. Under moonlight, Arya laid him on the sand, her fins shimmering in the shallow water. When the prince's eyes fluttered open, Arya looked at him, her heart filled with relief. But when he could speak, there was a swirl of fear. He saw a whisper of a mermaid's tale before she slipped away into the sea. Days passed. Arya could not forget. She held on to the flute, the prince's flute, that had drifted to her grasp. Its wood still warm in her hands. Her longing turned into ache. King Poseidon, the Sea King, discovered the flute in Arya's quarters. He was enraged. He commanded, "Do not dream of the human realm. Stay away." Arya tried to obey, but every time she closed her eyes, she saw the prince's face, heard his flute's song. At last, Unable to resist, she sought the sea witch. She told the witch, "I want to live on land, to be with the prince. Give me legs, though I risk everything." The sea witch's eyes glinted. "Very well, but your voice will be mine. Once you have legs, you will walk among humans, but you will speak no word. If the prince does not love you without hearing your voice, you will remain voiceless forever." Arya, despite fear, agreed. The witch handed her a shimmering potion in a bottle, dark violet with pearly iridescence. Arya drank it. Instantly, her tail split, fins reshaped into legs. She surfaced and stumbled onto the sandy beach. Her new feet burned with unfamiliar pain, but she persevered. She dressed in human garb, walked toward the prince's palace, longing a light in her heart. But when she arrived, she found the prince smiling by another princess already promised to be married in 3 days. Arya's chest tightened. She watched them. Her silence, her lack of voice, made her invisible in conversation. She sat by the shore, tears slipping, salt on her skin. The prince, gazing at the sea, saw a flash of red hair. He approached gently. "Who are you?" he asked. "Where have you been?" Arya opened her lips, but nothing came. She could not speak. The music of her voice was taken. Meanwhile, King Poseidon, alerted by his spies, stormed to the surface. He confronted the sea witch in her lair. With his mighty staff, he shattered the bottles of forbidden potions. He bound the witch and decreed she would remain imprisoned forever for her crimes. Then Poseidon swam fast across dark waters to Arya. The sea churned. Foamy waves rolled like footsteps. The prince, turning to leave the shore, paused, seeing the Sea King in all his majesty rise up, his tail shimmering, or rather his regal form, glinting in moonlit spray. Poseidon raised a seashell chalice, chanting ancient words known only to sea royalty. Suddenly, Arya felt warmth in her throat. Her beautiful voice returned. She gasped, first words trembling, "Father, I'm sorry. I should have listened to you." Then she turned to the prince, stepped forward, voice soft. "It was I who saved you, once a mermaid." The prince fell to his knees. Pain, love, recognition in his eyes. "You are real. You are the mermaid I heard singing." Hand in hand, Arya and the prince were united. Both worlds, the land and the sea, laughed with joy. Poseidon gave his blessing. The prince's people rejoiced in Arya's kindness, her courage. And thus, the mermaid who lost her voice found it again. Love did not require speech, only truth. The memory of those who polluted the seas, of careless hands, lingered. But Arya's voice and her bravery became legend, inspiring sea creatures and land walkers alike for years beyond counting. Thank you for diving into Arya's magical ocean adventure with me on Fantasy Gleam. May you remember, curiosity is beautiful, but must be balanced with wisdom. True love listens with more than ears. It listens with heart. Sacrifice and courage can reclaim what seems lost. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe so more children can listen to magical tales. Leave a comment. Which moment moved you most, when Arya saved the prince, when she lost her voice, or when her voice returned? Until next time, may your dreams ripple like waves, and your voice silent or loud shine with truth.